All right, friends, so the first thing we do when we're making this board is we have to smooth everything down, same thickness. Then we need to take it to the joiner, make all the sides flat. We don't have any bows, any crowns, anything like that. And we've already looked at that in past videos on how to do those steps. So now we're here and we have all of our boards. We need to connect them. They've all been straight lined, they've been planed down through the planer. What we need to do now is get the biscuit joiner and put some biscuits in here. So when we do that, we need to lay all our boards together, and then we're going to take our pencil and we're going to mark out where we want those biscuits to go. In a board like this, I'm probably leaning on putting more than less. So instead of putting 3 every 12 inches or so, I'm gonna probably put 4 of them. So I'm gonna put like 1, 2, 3, 4, something like that. I could even go 5, but I think 4 is enough by the time I glue it. Now, the next important part is I'm gonna label these boards. I'm gonna label the seams. So I have A, B, I have a C, and I have a D. So now I'm going to go ahead and do that on the other side of the board, just so we don't get confused at all. A, B, B, C, D, D. And so now that I have all the boards laid out here, I'm going to put my marks where I'm going to have, these seemed a little close to me, so I'm going to stretch those out of here. Okay, now we have all of our marks marked out where we're gonna put the biscuits. Now we go ahead and we biscuit joint all those marks. Then we'll put it together, do a dry fit. Then we'll put it on the clamps, glue it up, put biscuits in there, glue the biscuits, and then tighten it up. Okay, so the first thing you wanna do when you get ready to biscuit joint this stuff, look at what biscuits you have. I have number 10 for my size. So now I want to look at my biscuit joiner and I want to make sure I'm switched on the number 10 slot. If I'm at the 0 slot, it will go too narrow and I'll have a gap where my biscuit won't fit in that spot. If I go to the 20 and it's too big, this thing will have a bunch of slop and it won't be tight and it won't be as good of a connection as you could have. The other thing I like to do, folks, is I like to get a solid fence to put my boards against when I am biscuit joining. So I am putting these 3 clamps here. I'm going to move my board over and then biscuit joint. So I'm pushing against a solid point, and then so come over here, biscuit, slide it over, biscuit, slide it over, biscuit, and that way I'm not having to hold the board and the biscuit joiner at the same time. All right, friends, so we got our boards all biscuit jointed, and now we are going to put our boards together. We're going to do what's called a dry fit, which means ends, we're going to put the biscuits in them and see how they clamp up without glue. So that way we can make a correction, a remediation, before it's all full of glue. The other thing I like to do here is I like to set my clamps. After I get this done, I set my clamps in the right spot so when it's all glued up, I'm not trying to slide these around, and all I have to do is just move the screws a little bit. So, get out the jam or the gravy because it's biscuit time. Okay, so now the biscuits are in. It dry fit just fine. We are going to go ahead and set our clamps and then glue it up. Clamp it tight. Not gonna kill it, but we just wanna make it pretty snug. And then we're going to let it sit for about 24 hours, come back, and continue the process. When I do a glue up, I put glue in the biscuit hole first. Then I put the biscuits in the hole. Then I go ahead and I put glue over this. Now, the next thing I do, I don't need biscuits in here. If I have it here, those will come together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip these up. I'm going to flip all these up. And I'm going to put glue in the ones that are sitting like this. That way I don't flop it down, all the glue runs down, and it's a big old mess. We do enjoy making messes, but not so much with glue. This one got a little deep, so I'm going to put a little bit more glue in that than I usually would. Now I'm going to look for any thin spots. Put a little bit more glue on those spots. Glue is relatively cheap compared to the price of your project being all done and happy and then it breaking apart. I know this from experience. They have rollers that you can use that roll the glue on, that's got the glue bottle attached. I found that we will ruin more glue by not closing the bottle or letting it spill out or ruining, so I don't use that stuff. So sometimes we have quite a bit of gap here. Sometimes I'll actually put a clamp on the ends to try to get them to come together. I probably should have put a biscuit right there on the end. But you can clamp the end to where you're bringing it up the same level and then clamp it tight this way. Probably should have put a biscuit right at the end. Okay, I'm gonna get a paper towel, wipe off this excess glue because it is not fun to sand off, and then I'm gonna let it sit for 24 hours. All right, friends, it's been 24 hours, so now I am going to take this out, cut the edges flat, and then we will do some belt sanding on it, and then do some routering on it, and then throw some polyurethane on it. Ah.